I want you to imagine this. You put in hours of work into your YouTube shorts and they get stuck at 20 views. Does that sound familiar? This is probably the dialogue on your head. You're probably like, I did all this work, I listened to all the advice out there, and still I don't have the results. Well, let me tell you that you, my friend, are focusing on the wrong thing. To go viral with YouTube Shorts, you'll need more than just a few good edits. You need to understand what the YouTube algorithm wants from you. Don't get me wrong, I was stuck at a couple of hundred views as well until I implemented this strategy that allowed me to get to millions of views with my shorts. This is going to be a build-up strategy. So point number 1 is going to translate into point number 2. Point number 2 is going to translate into point number 3, and so on. If you combine all of them, there's a great chance that instead of hitting a roadblock, you're going to see your shorts getting momentum quickly. Now, YouTube Shorts were initially launched to compete with the likes of TikTok and Instagram Reels. They're already doing a great job, and there are literally billions of people every single month using YouTube Shorts. And this is very exciting because in February of 2023, YouTube is turning on the monetization for the YouTube Shorts, which basically means that we are now going to be earning money from YouTube Shorts the same way as we make money from long form content. Now, because YouTube Shorts are short, then your retentions need to be very high, close to 100, maybe even more than 100. So the question is, how do we get these numbers? Retaining attention of a viewer is a skill that you must cultivate if you want to have success with content creation. And here are a few suggestions from me. Tip number 1 is to cut out the fluff. Get straight to the point and give the viewer exactly what they came for. Avoid using unnecessary bridge words. For example, if you can leave out a specific word or even maybe a sentence, then do it, because this will make the video more concise and easier to watch. Tip number 2 is to learn how to tell stories well. Telling a good and compelling story is the foundation of retaining a viewer's attention. Nowadays, people's attentions are super low, especially because of the bite-sized content. And this bite-sized content makes it so easy to just swipe and you're on to the next video. So it really comes down to just making the person curious from the first second about what's going to happen in your video and then delaying that until the end. Sometimes people mistakenly think that the only content that performs well is the quick, fast-paced, snappy type of content. But that's actually not true, because have you ever found yourself to be curious about kind of a long and slow video? Well, why did that happen? Well, because the video hooked you in from the first second and got you curious to see what is going to happen at the end. And that's the ultimate key to go viral with YouTube Shorts. Tip number 3 is to make the video just a little bit more engaging through editing. When it comes to shorts, novelty is key. Make sure that you keep the viewer actively engaged by zooming in and out, focusing on their face and changing the scenes fast. But more importantly than that, make sure that all of your shorts have subtitles. You've probably already seen it, and there's a good reason why, because it makes sense. Some people can't hear, so the only way for them to consume your content is to listen to it. Or maybe someone is in class and they can't turn on the volume and they're just kind of scrolling through and watching it and just reading. And lastly, subtitles actually help to keep your viewer more engaged because it gives them something to read. So a rule of thumb, always add subtitles. Tip number 5 is to skip the call to action button. Now, if you are selling something, then of course go ahead and have the call to action. But this just isn't the case with the modern entertainment bite-sized content. Like I said in tip number 1, you need to eliminate anything that doesn't provide value to the viewer. So try to avoid saying things like, please subscribe to this channel or please like this video. As soon as people hear that, they'll just and that will hurt your retention. If you go to channel analytics and then you go to the audience tab, you can see how many of your viewers are new viewers and how many are returning. Now, ideally, you want to have more of both. You want to have more people watching your content, but then you also want to have more people coming back and watching your content again. And one way to get more returning viewers is to hook them in with a short and then keep them there with long form videos. And one of the keys to getting more returning viewers is consistency. And I don't just mean consistency in videos that are being uploaded, but consistency overall in terms of your branding and colors and the video topics. You want to get people to know who you are, what you stand for, and what they can expect when they subscribe to your channel. Tip number 6 is to loop your videos. Now, this is a very sneaky trick, but a lot of YouTubers have been using it. And that is basically you end your video with a cliffhanger and the beginning of your short is the continuation of that dialogue. Now, this is a little sneaky trick that a lot of YouTubers have been using, but basically you end your short on a cliffhanger, and so the beginning of the short is continuation from the end. And if everyone gets to the end and they start watching even just a second of it again, then that's going to result in more than a 100% retention, which is exactly what we want. So as you might have guessed by now, the ultimate key to success with YouTube Shorts is of course understanding human psychology and how to get someone curious and watch your entire video. I mean, there are people like Mr. Beast and Patty Galloway who study this all the time, and yet they still haven't perfected it. So with that in mind, I encourage you to study psychology and study what gets someone curious about your video. By the way, I have put together a free training about YouTube Shorts. So if you want to learn more about it, make sure to click the first link down in the description. Or alternatively, you can click on this video to learn more about how to get started with YouTube Shorts. Thank you for watching.